Alrighty, good morning everybody. It's Friday, November 15th, 2024. Let's go ahead and take a look at what happened yesterday. We have been talking about the potential for a much deeper pullback from the all-time high and talked about how we may be in for a continuation in that direction. So let's take a look and see what ended up happening here. Market opened right up top here and right around the close of the day before there, only to get rejected. And it wasn't necessarily a straight line down, but overall the trend was to the downside. So you can see here, just out of the open, we did get a nice bounce right off the holy orange power level here. I guess it was technically one tick in front. So there was a good little opportunity there to grab about 5 points out of that. And then that began the downtrend. So on the way down, unfortunately, first tag of the 200 in this instance did not give us a nice to the tick hold for a continuation lower, but all of the subsequent tests from there did end up working out for some great opportunities to the downside there. Eventually, I guess let's scroll out a little bit here. Like I said, it wasn't a straight line. They did come all the way down to just in front of the low of the day before there for this little attempt right by the bulls to try and come back, but they were rejected right around the 200, or I'm sorry, the VWAP, right? So on the way up, there's your first tag on the pullback into the 200 for a pretty sweet little trade there if you were trying to jump on that side of things. And then from there, you can see that the bulls had a lot of trouble recovering back through VWAP, where that ended up becoming the next trouble point for them, which led to the next push lower. So it was a little bit choppy in here, but you can still see they're holding the fast moving average on the way up, hold the back end of the VWAP there, pull back, we hold the back end of the 200 and the fast moving average, only to chop back above it, hold the 200 to the upside. And then once we finally began this push lower, and notice it was quite literally a peak up to one tick through that previous swing, and then the bottom dropped out, right? So from there, lots of good bearish opportunities off the fast moving average, kind of more aggressive. And then you can see here a little bit later on in the morning, going into the lunch hour there, we had a nice tag of the 200. Again, not enough strength to break through, so pull back from there. And then it was just a total sideways kind of back and forth for the whole afternoon, only to break lower in that last hour or two of the market there. So again, it was a bit choppy in there. You can still see very discrete rotations off of a lot of our moving averages and even off some of the roadmap levels, just maybe not as perfect as some days. But we did end up pushing lower. I did warn you guys that, what level was it? Or was that from the day before? Oh, here it is down here. I did warn you guys that if we started breaking lower and we could get down through, now this level here is a different level. This wasn't on the chart yesterday. But if we get through that previous daily low, we might end up finding support here right around 59.71, right? I didn't put it as an official level, but I told you that it would make sense if the bears come down here to have trouble somewhere within a point or two of that 59.71 area. And it, for all intents and purposes, did get a bounce, but just did not get very far. You might have gotten a little less than 10 points out of it if you did buy from there. And then again, you can see pull back, and at the end of the day, it came right back into the 200. So that, like I said, not necessarily the sexiest day yesterday in terms of the price action, but still a lot of really good low risk opportunities throughout the day. And that brings us into the overnight session from last night, where the bears are still in power here. And you can see right from the open here, they pulled back, held the back end of VWAP, and continued on the way down. So a great short opportunity there once Globex opened yesterday afternoon. In fact, they did come right to the fast moving average, but basically held the VWAP there for a great opportunity to get short. If you missed that, notice they came right to the major extension, started to peter out from this pullback and then bounced right into the VWAP. So you had 2 additional opportunities to get short here last night. And if you did, you should be up over 30 points right now, or you should have at least been up 30 points as of somewhere in the middle of the night there, right? So that brings us here to close to the open, where we're starting to get a little bit of a bullish reaction, right? And just kind of meandering around. There's the news drop. We did have, I forget specifically what it was, but we did have that news drop an hour before the open this morning, and that's what that kind of flurry in price is right there. And now we are just playing around in this overnight range. So that brings us to our review for this morning. So let's go ahead and take a look at what the higher time frames have to say.